And welcome in, everybody. Here we are back in the Two Guys and Beer podcast studio, the lab, as they call it. I hate that reference. People are like, I'm going to go into the lab and work on my game, playing basketball or something. Like, got to get back in the lab. It's not the lab.
I don't know. I'm kind of liking it for this setting. The lab, we're testing out different chemistries, pickle, golden pickle chemistry here. I don't know.
That's true. I guess it does kind of work for us.
For us,
sure.
maybe.
For the most part, people, I feel like it's overused. I think that's probably,
Sure.
I think that's probably what gets me, like, because there's catchphrases for everything. You know what I mean? So I think that when something gets overused, that's when I start to just not like it. You know what I mean? Like I think the lab is one of those things. It's like, okay, I get it. You're clever.
And I think context matters. The lab isn't the baseball field. The lab isn't the basketball court.
Right.
Like, at least we're testing some chemistry here. Like, that sounds okay.
Yeah. Well, and I guess that's, to a certain extent, like a basketball court. Are you practicing or are you actually developing things? Because I'm pretty sure you have a skill set and you're just practicing that skill set.
Probably.
But I don't know. Whatever. If you have thoughts on that, give us feedback.
Right.
Reach out on the social media.
Do you like the lab or not?
You know what I do like, though?
Drinking beer.
I like drinking beer.
All right.
It's true.
I do too.
These are the facts of life. We insert the theme song there. The facts of life. The facts of life. We're looking at Half Brothers Brewing today. They hail from the great state of North Dakota. They are out of Grand Forks, North Dakota, on the 17th North 3rd Street is where they're at. So that's where we're headed. We're heading kind of northwestish from here, I guess.
Perfect.
Kind of up towards, not quite to Canada, but, up that
Close,
direction.
Close.
So,
you ever been to North Dakota?
I have for moments. I think I was in Grand Forks because I had a friend of mine who went to school just across the river.
Oh, okay.
On the Minnesota
Sure.
side, and we just drove over there to say that we went there or something.
Sure.
Something stupid. We were only there for like half an hour or something like that and then came back.
Sure.
It wasn't like we were there for real long. So I have, but not technically.
Sure.
If you really want to call it
Just
gone there.
Say you were there quick. Yeah, I've had a few of those.
Exactly. It's kind of like technically, have I been to Texas? Well, yeah, I drove to Arizona. We didn't stop for gas or anything. Just kind of clipped the tip on the top there on the way down, and that was about it.
Sure.
Same with New Mexico. I think we stopped for gas maybe once, but let me tell you, driving through New Mexico is one of the worst things. Like, you talk about that stretch from 95 just being boring. There's nothing. It's like, look, there's dirt, and there's dirt, and look, I can see the tip of Mexico because there's nothing.
Well, I had a different experience when I was in New Mexico. It was much more enjoyable. I thought I shared it. Well, I think I did back on episode 5 or something.
I think when we were talking about the Area 51 or something.
Yeah. But so I had a different experience in New Mexico with different sceneries and stuff, but I've driven through North Dakota, and that is boring as hell.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if you're from North Dakota. I've been through there a few times. Maybe I missed something. Mm-hmm. If I missed something, let me know where I should stop. But
you were asleep for half of it, probably.
Drove through the state a couple times. I saw grass, in the movie The Nothing or whatever with Mark Wahlberg. That was so terrible you couldn't figure out what was going on. It was just grass about knee high, just kind of blowing in the wind. And I went all the way through. And once I got into Montana, then it was cool. But North Dakota. Nothing.
Not much there.
I didn't see anything. So
that's true. So I've never been to the Black Hills, Rushmore, any of that stuff or whatever. But I have driven through part of South Dakota, and it's much of the same there. It's 70 miles that way, and good luck. Hope you had a Red Bull or something.
It's terrible.
There's not much there
until you get to the western half of South Dakota. Then it's gorgeous, of course. But yeah.
I didn't go that far. I went to Pierre.
Oh, sure.
The capital, if you will. So I had a friend doing broadcasting out there, and so went out and visited for a little bit. I don't remember much of that trip.
A lot of beer drinking?
I may have been a little beer drinking on that one, too. Because as we've said, I like me some beer drinking.
You like you some beer.
But, that's kind of what we're here for. That's what we're here, two guys in beer. So what would we be if we didn't drink the beer?
That would be terrible.
Yeah, that would be terrible. Be just two guys hanging out.
that could get iffy at times.
So what do you want to talk about today? You see that sky today? Talk about blue.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Got it.
But in the meantime, since we're way more fun than that, Half Brothers Brewing, North Dakota, coming back to Grand Forks, North Dakota. So, no, I mean, like I said, I guess I had been there, but that's been probably 20 years ago now, maybe even longer than that. Ooh. Yeah, probably about longer than that now. So this was definitely not there at this point in time. Sure. It's only a handful of years old, so not a ton of information to be able to grab, but we'll do our best and bring to you what we know and what we have here on Half Brothers. Not only the information about the brewery, but we're also going to talk a little bit about the beer we're going to drink today, and generally, more often than not, we kind of live around that IPA world. We've done like some sours, we've had some ciders, we had like some Doppelbock, some Oktoberfest, but this one is... if there were rails to go off of,
this is completely off the rail.
We have jumped the track, my friends. It is. It's going to be a little bit different. This is the Pickle Rickle is, I believe, the name of it here.
Golden Pickle Beer is what it says on the can.
Oof.
And it's a malt beverage. We've never had a malt beverage on here like a Zima, I presume, or Smirnoff Ice or a Mike's Hard Lemonade. Here we go. Golden Pickle Beer. Here, I'll pass it over to you here.
As described on the front here, kind of the cool pickle guy hanging out there. This was a recommended beer, wasn't it not?
This was a recommended beer. Yeah. It sure was.
4.5 ABV, Golden Pickle Beer. This is going to be an interesting one for sure. On their website, Pickle Rickle Golden Pickle Beer. It's a blonde ale from Half Brothers. It is 4.5, as I mentioned. The description, as far as, what is this? Is this Untapped rankings? I believe that it gives it about a 3.8.
Oh.
Just shy of a 4 out of 5. Basically 4 out of 5 stars.
Interesting.
Is about kind of where they put that. I'll click on that. I'll actually go over to the Untapped side of things here. Untapped, if you're not familiar with that, is you can rate all of your beers, and then it throws it out there for everybody to be able to rate it. This is based on 577 ratings. 3.7 for the total on that one. So should be an interesting one for sure. And I feel like you have to like pickles a lot, because even on their website, Dill Pickle Golden Ale brewed with a literal metric F ton of pickle juice.
Perfect.
So
and I like how they do that, F ton of pickle juice.
Yes, they're not messing around with the pickle. I have a feeling that once we pop the top, we'll know.
We will know. And before we get into this, I do like pickles. I like lots of pickles. I always get extra pickles. I always have jars of pickles at home. Mm-hmm. I am known to drink pickle juice out of the jar. Mm-hmm. Not in like chugging amounts, but I will like to take a couple of shots of it. It's good stuff. So, and
it's good for you too. It helps with cramping, things like that. It's very good for you. I do also quite love pickles. I did at one point in time try to make a dill pickle soup at work one time. I got a lot of heat from some of my coworkers because apparently the kitchen area smelled like pickles for like days. And actually, it was salty AF. Let me tell you. But it definitely was pickly, and it was good for about a half a bowl. I think if I were to try to make it again, I would probably put like either dumplings or like ripped up bread in there with maybe some like browned hamburger or something to kind of like offset the saltiness of all of the pickles, because it was literally you had dumped almost a full jar of pickle juice in there. So it was aggressive on the pickle juice. So it was still pretty good though, and my coworkers that I was working with at that, because it's a dispatch center, so a 24-hour operation. So, but the coworkers that I was working with at the time tried some, and then when the next ones came in the morning, they're like, "What the F happened in the kitchen? This is not okay."
Well,
yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Experimentation going on in here.
Exactly. So this is going to be very pickly.
Without further ado, before it gets too warm, shall we give it a shot?
Let's not wait any longer.
Well,
I don't quite. I smell the golden ale part, but I don't get the pickle smell just yet.
no, you got us.
Oh yeah,
A little bit
there you go.
closer,
Yeah,
get
if
the
you get
pickle
on there
smell,
now, you
yeah.
get the pickle juice for sure. Holy pickle, Batman. So when they describe it as a metric F ton, remember how I said I smelled a little golden ale? I don't know where it is. Apparently it was just floating on the top, and I drank that already.
You can,
now it's like this is like the it'd be like a hard not like a hard seltzer, a pickle seltzer. Oof.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm not sure what I think about it. You can definitely taste pickle in it, but it's not as much as I was expecting.
Now that I mentally am ready for it, that first slug that I took there was I was not prepared. I was
It's definitely different. That's for sure. You can definitely taste the pickle in it, but I don't think it's like drinking pickle out of a pickle jar is way more potent and a lot stronger than this. Of course, this is a beer. You know, it's tough to compare, but it's not too strong for a pickle flavor. The aftertaste is a little different.
Yeah.
With that beer, it almost stings or something, maybe like a dry.
It's got the vinegar or something that it kind of hits you at that point. So it's it is it's pickly. That's for sure.
I don't know what to say about it. Really, it's a good novelty drink if you want to try something goofy. I don't think I would ever drink this on the lawnmower scale.
Yeah, I don't think that this would reach the lawnmower scale.
This isn't the cozy, warm fire.
The
beer.
winter scale is This is for me. And I'd like to try more Half Brothers just to be able to like try some of their other stuff, because it's nothing about Half Brothers. I love the experimentation. I love getting out there and trying something and getting after it and doing something fun, because I would still order this probably on a flight. I don't know that I would want a full pint.
Right.
But if you love pickle juice, you probably might like this. You know, I mean, you love pickles. We described it, and I do love pickles. I still don't. I think I might do just like a flight size or like a small one, but more for like I don't know if the gimmick is the right way to put it, but more for like the novelty of it, more than anything. It's a different flavor for sure.
Yeah, that's exactly why you would drink this, is for the novelty of it, just to say, oh, I had a pickle flavored beer. You know, there's nothing too crazy about that. And like you said, I applaud the attempt at something crazy and different. Maybe it's a way to get people in the door, but I would definitely try other Four Brothers beer. Yeah. This just isn't one I would rush out to the store and grab and bring a case home or anything like that, or a 4-pack home. Like, nah.
And for what it is, being a pickle beer, like, it's good for pickles. Like, for that, like, I don't know that what I would do to make it better or different. Personally,
I don't think you could.
That's about what I would want it to taste like. It tastes kind of like what you conjure in your mind. You know what I mean? So if it's a lot less, maybe that's not quite as good, or if it's way more, it's going to be overpowering. Like, it's kind of at that right level. Like, I think that they've done a really good job for what it is. But it's definitely, you're getting it for the novelty of saying, dude, you check this thing out.
Try this. Yeah,
you're doing that. Or my friend Bridget is probably going to order it herself, and she loves pickles, kind of obsessive about that. But I don't know. It's not bad though. Like I said, for what it is and what they tried to do, I think that they kind of nailed that. If that works as a description.
Yeah, that's a good description. I agree with that. Yeah, it's for doing something crazy and goofy. I think, like you said, you probably couldn't do it any better than what it is. A little bit too much more pickle, it would be maybe too gross. A little bit less, not quite enough. But yeah, I just wouldn't. I wouldn't go out drinking cans of this stuff. That's for sure. Not at all.
Yeah, but it's I don't know. It's hard because I don't want to. This is probably one of the very few times that we've gotten a beer that it wasn't like excellent, and I'm not saying anything bad about it. That's where I guess I'm trying to make sure that the listeners get that, like, this isn't. I'm not trying to be negative at all. It's just not necessarily like my cup of tea. I would definitely, like I said, I'd definitely try like a small one out at the brewery just because I like the novelty of the idea. I really do want to try more Half Brothers Brewing selection to try some of their other stuff as well. Because if they did that good with this, I'm expecting that some of their other stuff is going to be quite good as well.
Yeah, clearly they have some good ideas there.
Yeah.
Or they know how to brew beer there, that's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah,
and not afraid to experiment with some stuff.
Right.
And I like that. I like that a lot about, because there's some breweries that kind of play it safe. We're going to do like the big hitters and maybe one that we kind of mess around with. But, I like it when they kind of go out there and like, no, we're going to take a swing. We're going to go ahead and get after something, If it doesn't, sell well or people don't really like it, well, that's fine. We have it for a little while and we don't bring it back next time. But you know what? We're going to give it a shot. So I like that a lot.
I'd be curious to know like the numbers on this stuff as far as sales and volume and how many barrels of this they make. And it'd be nice to know, they explained F-ton.
Yeah.
Well, how much is an F-ton? I want to know what the F-ton is that they put in here to make
Frankfurter.
How much? Where do they get the pickle juice? Did they make it themselves? Like, where do you
That's
source
true.
it?
Yeah.
They just buy a bunch of jars and dump it, eat the pickles.
It's the leftover juice in the 5-gallon pails that restaurants get that when they use all the hamburger pickles. So you got, like Dwayne in the back with his bare hand pulling the pickles.
Pulling them out.
They just just take that.
You think garlic in here would make it a little better? I like garlic.
That'd be kind of an interesting flavor with that.
Add a little garlic in here. I don't know if anybody's ever made a garlic beer before, but
I don't know.
I
feel like that'd be I mean, if we made a pickle beer, we may as well make a garlic beer. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Garlic pickle
Dracula
beer.
would not like it though.
No,
he's kind of a
not.
judgy B though, or
Kind of an
judgy
ass.
V.
Yeah. No, those are some of my favorite pickles. Actually, those Clausen pickles that are always refrigerated, those sandwich slices, and there's garlic chunks in there and stuff. I wonder if infusing a little garlic in this would make
I see what you're saying.
Make it any different there.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do that. We'll after we're done here, we'll go next door and I'll get the
it out.
Garlic squeezer, the mincer, and try to inject some of that in there. So, Half Brothers Brewing is kind of what we're talking about a little bit. We're doing the golden pickle beer, the Pickle Dickle, is what the Pickle Rickle. Pickle Rickle, not Pickle Dickle.
Pickle Dickle.
Pickle Dickle. The Pickle Rickle is what we're tasting here. Some information about Half Brothers Brewery, as I mentioned, at Grand Forks, North Dakota. They love great beer, love the great community. They are kind of from that area. Spent the last 10 years learning and building up the skills to bring a quality craft brewing company to Grand Forks, North Dakota. And then working with local artists and professionals, they've built what they feel is something special that goes beyond quality beer. And they invite you to come in and check it out. They want to brew the excellent beer for patrons to enjoy, but so does every other brew house. So I like the fact that they kind of point that out in their mission statement. We brew excellent beer for our patrons to enjoy, ... but so does every other successful brew house.
They sure do.
I like that they acknowledge the fact. I think we've talked about that before, that like half the time you try to look up some information, we look at their website, we look at Wikipedia, we look at their Instagram, we try to gather as much information as we can, but a lot of times when you get to their website, what makes us different? We're really passionate beer people.
Really?
Okay. Tell
Along
me more.
With the other 5,000 brewers in the
Exactly.
United States?
Yeah, so I like when they kind of are willing to point that out, but then kind of expand a little bit beyond that. They built it to be more than just another brewery. They worked hard to craft a full experience, I should say. That's the English word, I believe.
Oh, this is definitely an experience.
This is definitely an experience. But they want to promote art and culture in the community. So it's not just about the beer. They want to have the beer, but they want that to project business and art and culture and everything with that. So, again, we've talked numerous times about like the craft beer industry and the craft beer culture about, being very much so community oriented and wanting to be part of, being intertwined with that. And that's why it's still amazing to me that I think I talked before that like my hometown shot down the idea of having a brewery in town. Like somebody had already bought the building and had a website and had a plan and all of the things lined up for it, but they weren't willing to change the zoning to allow, because the way their zoning was set up was like the entire block was residential and it was one building that was left over from forever ago. Well, they had to change the zoning to either allow that whole block to be commercial or mixed. And the residents didn't want that to happen because they didn't want another bar in town with cars just ripping up and down the road and being out all night long and being a danger for our kids walking along the streets and riding their bikes and stuff like that. And I'm like,
that's not even the culture of breweries.
have you ever been to a brewery?
Houses.
Like, there's not more, but there's kids at most breweries. Like, they're not obviously not drinking the beer, but like it's a family oriented thing. You're not going to, the bar uptown, you know what I mean? You're not going to the Cricket. You're not going to, the Blue Moon. You're going to a brewery. It's a whole different type of...
Right.
Yes, you're still getting beer. Yes, you could potentially still get drunk.
I mean, it happens.
I'm not sure that I've known too many people that have gotten, hammered, belligerent drunk at a brewery.
Not too often.
Either you already were before you got there, or you had a couple and you were going. But even the people that do end up getting kind of drunk there are usually fun-loving people, and they just want to, have a good time. And about the time they get to that point, they're out of there anyway, because that's not the crowd that you're going to get. The people that are just going to be there just to get drunk. Like, you go there to be able to sample some stuff and have a nice experience and be able to enjoy the entire thing. Like, you're not going there to get drunk. That happens. It's been known to happen
a few times, once in a while.
But those aren't the people that cause problems. And so that's it's sorry, kind of a little tangent Tuesday on a Monday here. It kind of went off a little bit because it frustrates me because I walk by that building all the time.
Well, that's the truth, though. And like you said, a lot of times you see families there, people bringing their kids there. Well, what's at breweries when you bring your kids? On the corner there's a book nook. There's games. There's Monopoly, Scrabble, Connect Four, Chutes and Ladders. It's literally there at the brewery. Mm-hmm. So you get yourself a beer, you bring your kids, you play a little Chutes and Ladders, little Candyland, grab a pickle beer, it's more about atmosphere and relaxing and having a good time.
And most all of them, I don't know too many of them, maybe more in a more metro area, but especially in a little bit more rural areas, most of them aren't open past about 9 anyway.
Right.
So it's not like you're staying, maybe 10, especially during the summer months when it's a little bit lighter out.
Or Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, they're open till 10.
But they're not doing 7 days a week, open till 1, and then open till 2 on Friday, Saturday with shot specials. And it's a completely different vibe. Yeah. So, I shouldn't say obviously, but I'm assuming if you are checking in on this podcast, watching on YouTube, listening on Buzzsprout, any one of the podcast locations, wherever it may be, iHeart or Spotify or whatever it is, I'm guessing you've been to or are familiar at least a little bit with craft beer or breweries. Yeah. But for those that haven't and think that it's about the same, go and experiment with one. Just go in and spend a little bit of time at one. Get the lightest beer that they have. If you're a Busch Light, Mick Ultra kind of drinker, if that's your speed and you don't want anything you have to chew, I've heard that many times. Yes. You can get a flight. Most places will do a flight. You get 4 or 5 little glasses. Say, this is what I usually drink. I want something light. They will pick from one of their 13 beers that they have on tap. They're not going to give you, the porter or the stout because they know that you're not going to like that. So why would you waste your time with that? They might ask you, most of the beer tenders, they even got their own name, not bartenders, beer tenders, because all they do is beer. Yeah. Most of them are at least familiar enough with their own stuff that if you tell them, this is kind of what I like, but I also like kind of fruity kind of things. Like, okay, you know what? You might actually like this sour. It's going to be a little bit bitter for a taste, but it's going to have some fruit to it. You might kind of like that. We'll put that in your list for, a flight. So they're going to help you through that anyway. So if you haven't gone to one, just go and check it out. If you're worried about going by yourself, you got a friend in me. I'm happy to volunteer.
Cue the music.
Yes, yeah, here we go.
A friend in me.
I'm in for going to be able to, hang out. Sorry, I kind of went off a little. What were we talking about again?
No, to tail off what you were talking about there, the bartenders or beer servers, whatever you want to call them at the brewery, they actually know what they're talking about when it comes to the beer they're serving. Mm-hmm. If you go to a bar, Bob's Bar and Grill down the road, they don't have a clue what they're serving. You just tell them the name and they give it to you. So if you were to ask them, what should I have? They're like, I don't know, we've got Miller Lite on tap. Well, you go to a brewery, they know what's in the beer, how it's made, the different tastes, all that stuff. So they're way more knowledgeable of what they're serving and can give you good recommendations. Pretty much that's the experience I've had at any brewery I've ever been to.
And likely, one of the things when you work at a brewery, like you work at a brewery because you like breweries, and you don't just like the person you're working for. Maybe that is part of it, but now that you got in there, you're willing to try all of the different beers. So likely they have already tried all of the different beers, and so they can give you kind of at least their feedback on that. Like you're saying, they know what's there. Which, from that standpoint, I'm going to go back on my little soapbox tangent Tuesday over here. That's one of the most irritating things in the world when you go to a bar and you're like, what's on tap? You're like, well, we got Coors Light and Mick Golden Light and Busch Light. I'm like, okay, if I'm asking what the tap list is, go ahead and take the 5 major light beers right off the top, because clearly if I don't care, then I'm going to get like a Coors Light, Keystone, whatever.
Right.
But if I'm asking that question, I'm not asking like, oh, do you have Busch Light? Because really nobody in rural Minnesota. No, everybody does. If you could find a bar somewhere that I can't even talk right now. If you could find a bar somewhere that doesn't have Busch Light on tap or Coors Light on tap, show me where it is. Really? Because I'm curious at this point in time. So if I ask, if you're a server out there, or if you have family that's a server, kids or relatives that are servers, have them learn their tap list, or at least bring the tap list with them. Because if I ask that question, I already know that Coors Light, Busch Light, like, what's the light beer you got on tap? Well, Mick Golden. Okay, I'll have one of those. Because clearly I'm not worried about, like, there are some people that do, like, oh, I can't taste it. I can't have that. It just tastes like swill. And I'm like, you're drinking basically the same thing in a different can. But there's some that do have that opinion with some of those, but generally speaking, if I'm asking for the tap list, those aren't the ones I'm looking for.
Right.
I'm looking to find out. I can see the tap handles over the top, and I think that's a Beer Hug. That one over there, it might be a Goose Island. Is this one here? Is that a Clock Owl from Grand Rapids? Oh, I don't know. It's. Let me go check.
I'll be right back. Yeah, like, give me a second. Oh, okay.
Like, have that information. Like, I'm going to tip you less if you do that to me, because I'm asking for that specific thing. You know what I mean? Have the QR code on the table that you update or something. It just drives me nuts.
Don't you think you could be asking a little too much?
I might be.
I'm
sorry.
I'm
asking.
2024. You can't ask too much these days.
I'm asking people to know their job. I guess that's part of the problem here. So
well, that's a lot.
Yeah, but that's why I go to breweries. Probably. I go to bars probably fairly amount or whatever. But just know the stuff that you have. I understand that you're mostly just doing food as far as a server, but then bring the tap list with you. Like, if you're not going to learn that, bring it with you. That's an easy cheat sheet. Somebody asks us, like, oh yeah, you know what? I got it right here for you. Fantastic, awesome. Now I can read it. That is Clock Owl. I'm going to have one of those. You know what I mean? It solves that problem. You don't even have to learn all of them because they change a decent amount. But sorry, I apologize. I take it back. Go ahead and not know anything.
You feel better now?
No.
Just thought I'd ask.
So, anyway, they work hard to create a good craft experience, promoting art and culture in the community. So, good on you for Half Brothers for that. Not making me angry. Sorry that they had to be part of my little rant there for a little bit. Let's see here. What else do they do? They got live bands and artists from the community that come together to be part of that experience and help provide a place where patrons can take part of something interesting and unique all the time. So they have a ton of stuff going on there. You can find a lot of that on their website, but also on their Instagram. A ton of that information is out there. They try to keep that updated pretty good. Their Instagram does have even some pictures of not only different beers, but they do have like the different calendars that have what's going on there. $20 pizza plus 2 pints, open mic night, like all sorts of different stuff going on. Food trucks galore, like all of the different things that you want to be able to see at a brewery. So go to halfbrothersbrewing.com or to their Instagram page to be able to find out a ton more if you're going to be in that area or if you're looking to find out some more stuff about what they have out there. But their staff, they also have a little blurb here about their staff. Great product paired with a great experience can only get by having great people. They hire friendly, knowledgeable staff we just talked about, to brew your beer and to serve you, the patrons. Beer tenders are all experienced brewers with a passion for brewing new and interesting beer. So all of their beer tenders also have done brewing or are part of the brewing process for the brewery.
Nice.
So they understand what goes into it. We just talked about that like most beer tenders have an idea. They've tried a lot of it. These guys are involved in that process right from the jump, which is awesome. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, it definitely makes for a better experience when you're there, for sure.
Oh, 100%. And it specifically says all of our staff members are trained to know everything about our brewing process and happy to answer questions and engage in lively beer geek debate.
Hey.
So this is fantastic. I really
Sounds great.
This is going to be on our road trip tour of 2025. I don't know.
Whenever we're going to start it.
Yeah, I'm just picking. It's going to be all of like June
Fargo.
or something.
Or Fargo. Where'd I come up with Fargo? Fargo is not in Minnesota, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm just getting out
it's
there.
true.
Just so you know, that's in North Dakota.
Yep.
Where this brewery is. So don't ask us if we've seen Fargo or if we've been in Fargo. It's got nothing to do with Minnesota.
It's true.
Anyways.
These are the facts of life.
Back to Grand Forks, where this is.
Grand Forks. Mm-hmm.
What is that, like 6-7 hour drive from here or something like that?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe about that.
Yeah.
Well,
I could bring it up on the old the Google machine here.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
We can get out there one weekend.
Wouldn't be too far.
I probably wouldn't order the pickle beer again, though, now that we've had it now.
Yeah. The novelty has worn off. Grand Forks, North Dakota. From right here, way off.
Oh.
5 hours.
Oh, that's like driving up to Michigan. Perfect.
Exactly. Yeah. So we could do that as a little weekend trip. Absolutely. Doesn't even have to be part of it could be the pre-tour. Or it could be the start of the tour. That's fine too. I don't really care. That's where it'll start. We'll take off from here and we'll get up there and spend the night and then we'll start the next day.
By the time we get there, then we'll decide what it is.
Exactly.
Pre-tour, post-tour, middle of the tour.
For sure. Yeah, so I don't know. I'd really like to try, some of their other stuff that they have. Like I said, it's, they have quite the selection that's out there. They do have some seltzers, a bunch of. They got at least on their website right now. They have 6 different light beers, blonde, wheat beer, lagers. They have a red ale under the malty section, and then they got 3 different hoppy beers: a New England Pale Ale, a New England IPA, and American IPA. They have a couple of sours, some ciders, some NA options. And then they also, this is always fun here, they also have guest taps. So they bring in beers from other places too and bring them in. So they got some Deschutes, Fargo Brewing Company, Bemidji. I did see on their Instagram they actually have a co-op, or not co-op, but they worked with Bemidji to create their own. So a little bit of a mix and match to a certain extent. So yeah, they got a lot of different options that are out there, and kind of a lot of fun to be able to do that. So kind of a cool place to be able to go, and I think it'd be a lot of fun to be able to head up there. One note though, if they do have food there. If you go to the food tab, they have lots of matzo pizzas, which is good, and it's a good solid frozen pizza. If you're there, you may or may not notice that they also have a large pizza prep area for like in-house pizzas. But they just announced as late as April that they were putting a timeout and a reset on the pizza operation that they have. Pizza Operation Kitchen Tony's Pizza, and that said it after that weekend it was closing for a little bit of a reset. part of the problem that they were running into it was that they were having a hard time getting employees to do the pizza side of things.
Oh, okay.
So it was more of a staffing thing. So it's not a sales thing. It's nothing like that. Definitely go out and check it out and go there and give them your business. And I always feel weird saying patronize them because I feel like patronize is you're being patronizing.
That's
to me.
what it seems. Yeah.
But that's not like go and support them. Like get out there and enjoy the brewery and tell them that we sent you. Like something like that. But I think that one of the biggest things is like if you have a chance, maybe go work for them and do something like that. It'd be cool to be able to have that. And the picture that they have on here, they have 3 of those pizza ovens that kind of slow roast it right through there, and a whole little prep area. They make it right fresh right in front of you there. They have a bunch of dough sitting right on the table that they make fresh. Like it's good stuff, but. Yeah, it's just a staffing thing that they kind of ran into with that. So I think that a lot of us have kind of felt that staffing crunch over the years.
Well, especially the last few for sure. But let's play devil's advocate here for a second. If you're going to work for a brewery, brewing beer, brewing pickle beer. Yeah, see, I'm telling you.
I'm following.
Do you really want to go cook pizza when you apply for a brewery?
Well, and that's where they have people doing not both, but like one or the other. Right, so that's kind of where they kind of run into that. But it's a tough part. You don't want to have like the part-time 16-year-old that doesn't really care making the stuff. Even though the pizza pub I think down the road has a lot of that.
A lot of those.
But you could have something like that or whatever, and just have some quality standards there and kind of supervise it, and you'd be all right. But maybe they want to have people that want to just do the beer, and that's could be what it is.
Probably, yeah. I mean, you'd be better off just having frozen pizzas in house. I think if you're a brewery, or invite food trucks. I don't know how many food trucks are in Grand Forks, but. Well,
and even as of just a couple of days ago, they have a Hank's ice cream shop was coming to hang out there. So they had a food truck there, but they had a hippie gone hot dog last week.
Now that sounds great. A hot dog with beer. I'm not putting together the ice cream and beer though.
Yeah, that one's a little bit weird.
Especially if you're drinking a pickle beer with some vanilla ice cream.
A handful of weeks ago, they had Mexican food. That'll go with beer.
That sounds great.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, they got different options for sure that are up there, but. It's something that they like to try to be able to bring in, different options with that. But, the pizza is the latza matza at this point. So if you've been there before and you've had that, that has been a little bit of a change. I'm hoping that they start it again. I'm not going to bank on it, obviously, but, I'm hoping that they can maybe, get that going again at some point, just because I think it's kind of cool to be able to have your own pizza. You know what I mean? Your own kind of mix, your own kind of blend, whatever you're doing. Kind of cool.
Yeah, fresh, I suppose. Made right there. It adds a little something to it, I suppose.
Yeah.
But still, nothing beats a Haggie's pizza. That's some rock solid frozen pizza, man. Like, ooh.
The key is, and this is Mikey at the bowling alley has taught me this, the key to really being able to get it done, I mean, because most of them you almost have to like burn the top to be able to make sure it gets done all the way through, especially the 6-pack because it's a little thicker.
Yeah.
But if you toss her in there, but then every like 5 minutes or so, give her a little quarter turn. Like, pull the pizza out, little quarter turn, pop her back in there.
Sure.
It kind of evens things out a little bit. So I think that's pretty huge.
Do you think they have a pickle pizza?
I don't know if they do or not. I feel like they had a hamburger or bacon cheeseburger one, but I don't know if they have pickles on it or not. I may have to try to experiment.
We might have to just shoot them a little email. Hey.
Right? Yeah. What do you got?
Throw some pickles on one of those things.
Exactly, yeah. Or just get like a bacon cheeseburger one, and we'll just get some of those old crispy Clausens you were talking about.
Oh, hell yeah.
Toss some of those biatches on there.
It's a great idea.
It'd be fantastic. It'd be wonderful. Yeah, I do love some pickles. But yeah, this is I don't know, it's very interesting. It's very pickly. Very pickly.
It's different.
But
it's definitely a novelty beer, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's one of those beers you get once just to say you've tried it, and you're probably done with it after that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's it, you want to say that you've done it, but that's I don't know. That's kind of about it. Did you know that the name Lego came from the Danish phrase "leg godt," which means play well?
I did actually know that.
Oh,
Yeah, I read
see?
that a while ago, actually.
That was my random fact of the day.
I did read that. What is it, bar banter time?
I think so. I think we've reached that part of the episode.
All right, well.
28, too, by the way.
28.
Yeah. Coming up on a year. I think you had mentioned that.
One year
we're
coming
up on
in
a year.
August, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have some guests on here pretty soon if I get this table done.
Absolutely.
Properly. I'm not much of a craftsman, apparently, with epoxy, so
It's fine.
we'll have to fix my mistakes there. But you're a baseball guy.
I am a baseball guy.
You're a huge baseball guy.
Played 3
You
games of
still
baseball.
play?
We played 3 games this last weekend. Should have beat Mora. Got kind of a little screwed down on a call.
Should have beat him. You would have beat him.
Well, the pitch was right in the heart of the plate, and the ump was like, nah, it missed, which would have been the second out with nobody on, but instead it was a walk to put 1 on with 1 out, and then they ended up scoring to tie the game in the 9th.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, so that was
Against who?
Mora.
Oh.
So we should have beat them, and then we got hosed on a second call in the 10th, but whatever, it's fine. But yesterday we beat Hinckley, and it's always fun to beat Hinckley because Hinckley's one of those, we're going to play 55 games a year, and we're going to practice every day outside of that and take baseball way more seriously than anybody does. And we're there to have fun. We're the fun team is really what it is. Baseball's fun. You got to have fun doing it. And so we just have a good time. And, I think it's probably the 3rd time in 11 years that we've been a team that we beat Hinckley. Hinckley's usually towards the top of the league.
Oh, they're usually pretty good.
Mm-hmm. We beat him 12-11. So
that was a fun game.
That's
like a slow pitch softball game there.
It was an absolute blast. We had a young kid, a high school kid, started the game. He pitched really well, except for one pitch. He kind of left a 1-2 hanger that got parked for a grand slam. And all of a sudden, after 2 innings, we find ourselves down 6-1. But we battled back. We slapped the ball around a little bit. We pitched well. We hit well after that, and they just kind of, I think they didn't have a couple of their top guys were in Disneyland, I guess. So they had some of their key guys, but they were missing a couple of their top people as well. And I think they just ran out of pitching, really is what it kind of came down towards the end. And some stuff that was kind of all over the place, and a couple of walks and a couple of passed balls, and some stuff like that. So it was still a fun weekend. But yes, I am a baseball guy. I do like baseball.
You are a baseball.
Yeah.
Did you get in on that fun?
On one of the pass balls, I should have scored from third. I did not, because I think that it hopped back and it came back, but all the guys heckled me that I just thought I was too slow or something like that. But I scored on the next pitch on a base hit, so not a big deal. So
you kind of stayed at third?
Well, I took a couple of hard steps, and I'm like, no, that's coming back, and I'm going to get screwed at home. So I went back.
That was probably a smart decision.
Yeah, I think it was, but nobody else did apparently. But that's fine. That's that is what it is.
Well, you scored anyway.
Yeah, we still scored, and we took the lead, and won the game. So all's well that ends well.
Yeah. So yesterday or today, Bobby Bonilla Day.
Oh yes!
What a great day to celebrate.
Yes.
Was it $1.2 million he's been paid on July 1st every year for I don't know how many years now, 15 maybe?
See, I got to go. I got to look this up now.
And it goes until 2035.
Bobby, not Booby.
Right. You've had too much pickle juice.
Apparently.
So I couldn't believe I read that. I kind of forgot about that for a minute. I'm like, wow. That guy sure knew what the heck he was doing when it came to his contract. He's going to be getting paid $1.2 million until, I believe, 2035. He's going to be like 70 years old, still pulling it. Well, probably not 70. I'm just exaggerating. But
so the concept of do you know the background of this, of why it happened?
I used to know briefly, but
have you heard the name Bernie Madoff?
Oh yeah, unfortunately I have. That's not a very kosher name for most people.
So in 2000, the Mets decided to, instead of paying him, he had $5.9 million left on his contract. Instead of just, we're going to cut you, here's $5.9 million, we'll see you later. They're like, you know what? Instead, we're going to do annual payments of $1.2 million, and we're going to invest this money.
And they lost all that money.
They gave it to Bernie Madoff.
To a thief. Perfect.
And so starting in It's just amazing to me. So it didn't. So it was in 2000 when they decided they were going to buy out the contract. But
2000.
But instead of this is the other part of it too, is that the essentially annuity payments weren't going to start until 2011. So basically, they're going to take $6 million, they're going to turn it into $14 million, whatever it is, and then it's going to be fine because then they'll be paying all of this money, but they're going to make all of this money on interest. It's going to be totally fine.
Yeah.
So the payments didn't start till 2011. So 11 years later, that's where their growth was going to come from. That's where the money was going to be able to build. Well, obviously that didn't happen.
No.
They were promised double-digit returns and are going to make a significant amount of money off of that. Clearly that didn't happen.
Yep.
But the agreement in 2000 was that starting July 1st, 2011, for the next 25 years,
25.
he was going to make annual payments of $1.2 million, which by my simple math would take 5 years or less to be able to pay that off. But instead, we're going to make it for 25 years because we're going to make all this money on it, which is a whole different thing. So, so he's going to be making that for 25 years. So let's do the math. 2011, so that's going to be 2036. So we still got another 12 years of Bobby Bonilla Day. Which, on a side note, it actually is ironic because yesterday I was looking at social media. I don't remember, Twitter, Facebook, whatever the hell it was. Ryan Suter had his contract basically eliminated from the Dallas Stars, and so now he's getting paid $800,000 from the Wild and $1.2 million from the Stars to not play hockey.
Not doing it. I know. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, I read that too. I think I actually read that today, actually. Yeah.
Ugh. Unfreaking real.
Must be rough.
The thing about it, though, is this is the more that you look at it, it's one of the things that will be, crazy, and he's obviously known for it, but it's not the only one that's happened. I mean, obviously that happened, but Bonilla actually signed a second deferred contract plan with the Mets and Orioles that pays him $500,000 a year for 25 years. That started in 2004, so that's actually coming to a close here pretty soon.
Wow.
So he's getting paid that.
Wow.
Brett Saberhagen signed a contract, $250,000 a year for the Mets. That'll start in 2004. That started in 2004. Max Scherzer will receive $105 million total from the Nationals that will be paid out through 2028. But I think that's part of his actual contract, though. I don't think that's a deferment. I don't know. That one's a little bit different with that one. Manny Ramirez is still collecting money from the Boston Red Sox. He'll get $24.2 million through 2026. So he's still making money on that. Let's see here. Ken Griffey Jr., $3.6 million from the Reds from every year through 2024, a 9-year, $116 million deal that he signed in 2000 when he left Seattle, and then got hurt every freaking year after that, which is so sad because he should be really the leader in all of the statistical categories because he's one of the greatest to ever play. But yeah, he had that deferment with that one, so 3.6.
This is his last year getting paid.
Yeah,
then.
so that's the last one on that one. Let's see here. Chris Davis for the Orioles. If you remember the big slugging first baseman, might be the new Bobby Bonilla as he collects $59 million in deferred payments during a 15-year stretch that continues through 2037. He'll receive $9.16 million in 2024 and 2025, and then $3.5 million from 26 to 32, and then $1.4 million from 33 to 37. So he's just going to keep raking in the money. They defer it, because it's still that one's ultimately still going to be $59 million.
It's a lot of money, yeah.
And that's one of the things they were talking about with Shohei Ohtani. He has this massive, massive deal that he signed this last year. Let's see here. But Ohtani, I don't remember it doesn't say here what the total was for the thing, but it was something like 10 years, $500 million, $600 million or something insane. But because he didn't want to screw the team initially,
he's not getting much the first few years.
During the 10-year length of his deal, he's only making $2 million a year.
Right.
But But
it'll come later.
From 2034 to 2043, he will receive $68 million per year.
I wonder how the Dodgers are going to work around that in 10 years.
Exactly.
What are they going to do?
Yeah, no kidding. Instead, we'll do $40 million for the next 50 years or something. Yeah, it's.
That's just crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. But that's kind of where the pushing off contracts or whatever, it can work, but it doesn't always work. But yeah. Today's Bobby Bonilla Day. At least for us, it is today. Whoever's listening out there will probably hear it a couple of days from now. But July 1st, remember that. Put that in your calendars. Bobby Bonilla Day. Till 2032,
2036.
2036.
1.2 million.
So that's right, another 12 years. Just every year, just going to get the mail and all right,
here's
electric bill, subscription to Sports Illustrated that doesn't run anymore. Oh, there's my check. The Mets are sending me money still again.
I wonder whose idea that contract was. I wonder if he came up with that or his agent.
It sounds like it was the owner, one of the Coens that owned the team at the time. They thought that they were being so brilliant because it was less that it was the investment thing because they were going to make tons of money over the top of it
with Bernie Madoff.
Yeah, and we all know how that worked out real well.
Not well.
Yeah,
about as good as his investments with Sam Frickman or Blinkman or whatever, the crypto guy that everybody lost money in. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Ooh. My goodness.
Yeah.
That goes
unreal.
That goes into the NFL. Let's go into that now with their
May as well.
$144 billion lawsuit that they got taken for. Each team has to come up with what, $450 million?
Which will never it'll never happen.
Make sense.
It'll never happen.
So how does that judgment even happen then? There's just no way.
It makes sense from the standpoint of having the judgment, but the fact that it'll never actually happen because it'll like we were talking before, it'll get appealed and it'll be this.
Forever.
And
it's going to be drug out forever in the court system.
What it was a little bit ironic was they actually filed while they were doing this a motion to have the judge just dismiss it on merit before the trial started. And he said, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to let the jury decide, and then I'll evaluate whether I dismiss it on a judge's ruling afterwards. So it still may end up just getting dismissed, but a jury unanimously felt that that was right.
Well, it's an interesting...
So if a judge ends up changing his mind on that one, I feel like that'd be a little bit... how much of that $140 billion are you getting?
Sure. Well, it's an interesting thing, though. The people that brought up the lawsuit, I don't disagree with them, about the Sunday ticket, basically monopolizing the whole thing. So I would have to buy a Sunday ticket to watch every team in the NFL. Well, what if I don't want to?
Yeah.
What if I just want to watch the Vikings or the Packers? Or
yeah. I live in Minnesota, but I'm a huge Cardinals fan.
I should be able to just, especially with the streaming platforms now, I should be able to just stream the Vikings if I want.
Yeah.
This is where the teams of all professional sports need to stream their own stuff.
I'm going to pay $10 and watch your game.
Or
something like that. $15, 20, whatever the hell it's going to be. I mean, I'm not going to because whatever, Vikings and I live here and I see it. But yeah, I mean, have that. The one-off, the a la carte kind of bit for that.
Pick what
you can still have
how
your
much
national.
You want to pay for.
I don't think that's going to affect your national audience for your afternoon games. People are still going to be watching those. That's not going to change anything. You're already kind of screwing people by going to Amazon and Netflix or different things or whatever for streaming things, which just drives me nuts because I'm not going to go sign up for that. I'm literally not going to, and almost on principle now, I won't do it.
Right. It's like Thursday night games are on NFL Network only. I don't have that either. Nah.
Yeah.
They're getting a little greedy with their.
Exactly.
I'm not usually one for corporate greed, but the NFL is getting about as greedy as it can get with that stuff.
It is. It is.
Come on, now.
Kind of pushing beyond that level just a little bit.
Come on, yeah. I think it would just probably benefit the consumer better, and I think it would probably benefit the teams better if you could just pick which teams you wanted to, and your price can vary based on how many teams you pick.
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch the Jacksonville Jaguars. Why should I have to pay $500 a year for Sunday ticket to 300 games I won't even watch or see.
Yeah.
Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, if you kind of do the rough math, like if you do $20 a game, which I think would be a little bit steep, but $20 a game, I think $10 would maybe be all right. Like you can watch movies, you can get different stuff. I mean, Netflix is less than $10 a month or something like that.
Yeah, it's $24 now. It keeps going up.
I have no idea. Whatever it is, but you get like everything there or whatever. Like that's something that like. If you're going to charge, like $10 a game, let's say they even charge $20 a game, 17 games, that's going to be $340 that you're going to be paying for an entire season. But if you get the entire season, maybe you do it for $300 instead. I think that's still a little bit exorbitant in my mind, a little bit aggressive or whatever. But $10 I could see that. $170, maybe you do a deal for $150 if you buy the whole season, or $10 a game, so you're saving $20 on the season or something like that. Maybe that's what you get into. You know what I mean? I think that, I feel like $150 wouldn't be bad if I was out of town but a passionate fan. You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like that would be okay. But that's where it's, like you said, getting into like $500 to be able to like, I'm only watching the one game.
Right.
Like, maybe
or
now because I have it, I'm going to watch like Red Zone or something. But I don't care about that. You know what I mean? Like, none of the rest matters. You know what I mean? Like, fantasy football is definitely a thing, but I can look at stats on my phone because I don't care about what happens in the game. I care about the stats.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens how long the appeal process takes, maybe how the judge is going to rule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I don't think that they'll have to pay. I feel like it'll be. My guess is it's going to be upheld, but they're going to change the dollar amount.
Yeah.
Just because it's kind of that's a pretty hefty price tag. And I don't know where they came up with that. Maybe there's a legit way that they came up with that. That's where it came from or something. But, like that still is like, I feel like it's, because I think that the number is based on like, this is what all of the bars and restaurants or whatever have paid over the course of X amount of time for the entire thing, which I get it and I agree. But at the same time, like, you're still paying for something. You were still going to try, you still bought it for a reason. Yes, you didn't want the whole package and you're getting screwed on the whole package. But again, instead of paying $50 a game, you pay $10 a game. Maybe that's what the charge is instead of, however many billions of dollars, maybe you cut that in half or something. You know what I mean? A little more manageable for the NFL. All the people still get something out of the deal. Half of it's going to go to lawyers anyway.
Right. And then taxes after that. So,
yeah.
Who really wins in this scenario?
Everybody else.
Not the
everybody
consumer.
Else. Yeah. Exactly.
Definitely not the consumer.
Yeah. Ultimately, it'll probably be the NFL because now they'll work their way into doing kind of that a la carte onesie-twosie thing, and then that'll be just a huge boon for them.
And I'm sure they'll get some percentage of it, some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's almost like the Rockefellers, that big rich family, from time they owned the entire oil industry in the United States basically for a long time, and of course they got sued in court for monopolizing it, and they broke it up to several different oil companies throughout the country. Well, Rockefeller decided, he just bought stock in all the oil companies, and he had to sell it off to make individual companies, so he wasn't monopolizing. And then he just bought stock in all the companies and made 10 times as much money off of owning all the stock in all the companies versus keeping it himself.
Right.
So did he really lose, or that family really lose? No, they really didn't.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that they made out okay.
So, yeah. They did just fine.
So, what else you got for today's action?
Well, I don't have too much.
Yeah, I think that's about all I got here. I'm just gonna continue working on this Pickle Rickle Golden Pickle Beer, and I think that's about all we got here for episode 28, coming up on 30.
Perfect. Well, you can keep working on it. I think I'm done working on this, but
there we go.
Yeah, maybe I'll take one more sip for the cheers.
All right, sounds good. All right, well, we appreciate you guys tuning in, and again, like, share, subscribe, tell tell everybody about it. Comment, give us feedback. If you got a beer, like I said, we're drinking pickle beer based on a recommendation. We've taken many recommendations from different people. Happy to be able to interact with you. Just let us know what you want to be able to have. We'll try to be able to get that on there. But until next time,
cheers.
Cheers.